resolution about Hispanic Heritage Month. So if you will all please give her attention, your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor Henderson. I am going to invite community members from the Latinx community to come and stand with me. Several of them are here today, so I'm going to give it just a minute for them to come up. Yeah, you guys could come up. That's everyone. Everyone. All right. If y'all want to stand behind me, around, okay. Great. Okay. And after we do our presentation, I'll invite my colleagues if you all would like to stand with us as well. But this is a resolution number RS 2023-2403, a resolution recognizing September 15 through October 15, 2023 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Nashville and Davidson County. Whereas September 15, 2023 through October 15, 2023 has been declared as Hispanic Heritage Month to honor the role that Hispanics have played and continue to play in the economic, cultural, and social development of our nation. The observation began in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Lyndon Johnson and was later expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988 to cover the 30-day period starting October 15 and ending September 15 and October 15. It was enacted into law on August 17, 1988 upon adoption of Public Law 100-402. And whereas Hispanic people make up a significant portion of the labor workforce, working as elected officials, CEOs, small business owners, entrepreneurs, and homemakers who provide leadership, guidance, and support of the values which strengthen our economy. And whereas Hispanics of many nationalities in the city of Nashville are unique leaders and exceptional role models in all professions and have distinguished themselves as smart and wise business owners, creating jobs, paying wages, and demonstrating that they are a positive force in our local communities and neighborhoods. And whereas Hispanic Americans serve in all branches of the armed forces and have fought bravely in every war in history of the United States. And whereas Hispanic business owners, despite the many risks and personal sacrifices they encounter, continue to be inspirations to their families, employees, and to the community, and their successes provide inspiring stories to emulate. And whereas Hispanic-owned businesses represent the fastest growing segment of small businesses in the United States, growing at more than 15 times the national average. And whereas when Hispanics succeed, our nation, state, region, and city all succeed. And therefore, the potential of all Hispanics should be limited only by the breadth of their dreams. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. The Metropolitan Council hereby goes on record recognizing September 15 to October 15, 2023 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Nashville and Davidson County to honor the many accomplishments and contributions made by members of the Hispanic community and to encourage all residents to celebrate and support the people and business that make Nashville a unique and wonderful city. The resolution shall take effect from and after its adoption, the welfare of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County requiring it. And I have the distinct honor of presenting this to Leticia Alvarez, who will be accepting it on behalf of our entire community. Isn't that a heavy weight to carry? We have several community leaders that are here tonight, from nonprofits, from unions, from teaching our students, from advocating for our community members, people from everyday walks of life. who fight hard for our Latinx community, and I am proud to count myself friend of many of these people. And it has been the privilege of a lifetime to be able to represent a community, granted alone for now, but hopefully that won't be the case in the future. But I'm going to give the floor to Luis Mata, who will be saying a couple of words on behalf of the community.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for being such a trailblazer and role model for our entire community. Thank you all so much for this recognition. We're so honored to be here and to receive this recognition and celebration. And we envision a Tennessee where everyone can belong and thrive. And we know that we can get there by working together for inclusive policies and programs and investments in our communities. Celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month is so important in building that culture of belonging because we know that diverse communities make our cities stronger. This month is a perfect example of how our city comes together to truly celebrate the rich and vibrant cultures and traditions that exist right here in our community. This month is about honoring the resilience of our communities, connecting to our roots, and taking pride in where we come from. We are your constituents. We are your educators. We're the artists of the communities. We are your neighbors and friends. We're the hands that build our city. We are part of the new power rising in Nashville. We are the fabric of our community. We appreciate this special gesture, and this is a call to all of you that we also expect nothing less when passing budgets and passing policies. Thank you so much.
So I do want to thank you all for giving us the time to honor our community. And as a final note, we also have artist here, Pepe Vera. If you want to wave, yeah. He is a local artist of Mexican descent who has brought his beautiful art, and he will also be displaying it in our council hallway if you all want to take a look. But that is all for us. Thank you, Vice Chair. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sepulveda. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you. Council members, is there anyone wishing to be recognized to announce an event or happening in their district that they want their constituents or the folks here to be aware of? Okay. Councilwoman Benedict, you're recognized.
I'm pulling it up right now. This Thursday at the Inglewood Neighborhood Association at the Lytton Alumni Center at 7 p.m. The Nashville Tree Foundation will be there, and I'm trying to find this information. I'm so sorry. So let me repeat when it is. It is this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Lytton Alumni Center at the Inglewood Neighborhood Association. The Nashville Tree Foundation's Adopt a Tree Free Tree program will be there to present, and they will be collecting information. There's a form that's available online that I can send out. If you email emily.benedict@nashville.gov, I can get this email to you. And you can sign up also at that meeting to get a free tree or 2 or 4. And would love to have you plant some trees in the Inglewood area. Of course, anywhere in District 7 or anywhere around the city you can come. And then also on Saturday, October 7th at McGavick Pike, there is a litter cleanup being organized by Trout Unlimited, and they are going to meet up at Dalewood Baptist Church. We'll meet there at 8 a.m., and the cleanup goes from 8 to 11:30 a.m. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Benedict. Councilman Huffman, were you seeking to be recognized? Yes, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Yes, I'm Vice Mayor, excuse me. Quite a way to start off.
Or you can call me Madam President if you.
I am delighted to announce that I am sponsoring an event, document clean and shred event with my fellow council member Aaron Evans this Saturday. It's going to take place at the Hermitage Police Precinct and Hermitage Library at 3701 James K. Lane, and that's Hermitage, Tennessee 37076. That's going to take place from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you do have any bulk furniture items, we'd love to see you, and you have a chance to chat with the two Hermitage council members. Thank you.
That sounds like fun. Anybody else wishing to be recognized? Oh, goodness. Wow. Okay, council members. Councilwoman at Large, Delisha Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you so very much, Madam President. I have two announcements. First, I wanted to make sure that all of Nashville shared in the celebration of this great news. The Lawn Institute, which is a nonpartisan think tank, laying the foundation for a new healthcare system rooted in social responsibility, voted our very own Metro General Hospital, out of 3,000 hospitals across the country, Metro General was voted number 5 in health equity and inclusion, which is an amazing, amazing accomplishment for the People's Hospital. So I just wanted to make sure that we lifted that up. And I also wanted to congratulate, as of 24 hours ago, I am the former chair of the Minority Caucus, and I want to congratulate our new leadership. Councilwoman Quinte Toombs is now the chair of the Minority Caucus. Councilwoman Sandra Sepulveda is the vice chair of the caucus. We have Councilmember Deontay Harrell, who is our secretary, Councilmember Jeff Prepty, who is our sergeant at arms, Councilwoman Terry Vo, who is now our treasurer, and Councilwoman Zolfat Soror, who is our chaplain. So I just wanted to thank the new leadership of the Minority Caucus, and we know that they will serve us well.
Thank you. Congratulations to all your officers. Ms. Vo, you are recognized.
Thank you so much, Madam President. On Saturday, we're having a Midtown Music cleanup, and it'll be at 10 a.m., so you can sleep in a little bit. And you can meet us at Alicia Park. That's at 20th Avenue South and Chet Atkins. And everyone coming will get a free T-shirt and a Central Barbecue gift card. And then on Sunday, we'd love for everyone to come out to the annual Chestnut Hill Neighborhood Association Barbecue. That will be at Dudley Park from 1 to 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else is looking to be recognized? Councilwoman Evans, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware that this Saturday, the Nashville Coalition Against Domestic Violence is holding their Meet Us at the Bridge event, where they honor those who have lost their lives to domestic violence in the last year, and also recognize individuals and groups in the community who use their time and talents to combat domestic violence. It is going to be held this Saturday at 9 a.m. on the west side of the John Siegenthaler pedestrian bridge. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Welsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. This Saturday, District 16 is going to be taking part in the citywide cleanup, and we invite you to join us at 9:45 at Coleman Park on Thompson Lane. We'll be cleaning up the area between 10 and noon, and we would love to see you all and clean up this entire city. So we'll see you on Saturday.
That sounds great. Councilwoman Toombs, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to alert the residents of District 2 and whomever loves coffee that Dutch Brothers Coffee, located at 310 West Trinity Lane, will be open for business this Friday at 5 a.m. They are also hosting a Friends and Family Night tomorrow, October the 4th, from 4 to 8 p.m. If you reach out to me, I can give you a flyer for a free 16-ounce drink. Again, that is Dutch Brothers Coffee, opening officially this Friday at 5 a.m. and having a Friends and Family Night tomorrow from 4 to 8.
Okay, Councilwoman Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to let people know this Saturday is also the Greater Nashville Litter Cleanup. So around the entire state, they are doing litter cleanups, and we have one in District 32 on Bell Road. We also have one in District 31. I believe it's Mill Creek Watershed Association is doing one as well. So on Bell Road, we're starting at 9:30. We're meeting in the AMC parking lot at 901 Bell Road, and we'll be cleaning up Bell Road from Hickory Hollow Parkway to Bell Forge Lane. So if you're interested, you can go to my Facebook page, Councilwoman Joy Stiles for District 32, and I have a sign up there for an event.
Great.
Thank you.
Councilman Bradford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. To piggyback on Councilmember Stiles, District 13 is also participating in the citywide cleanup. Residents who are interested can go to the Donaldson Hermitage Neighborhood Alliance Facebook page or to my Facebook page to register. The cleanup will occur at Hamilton Creek Recreational Facility in District 13, but the meetup prior to that will be at 7:45 at the Hermitage Library. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Coopin, you're recognized.
Madam President, thank you. October 5th through 8th is the Germantown Oktoberfest, free admission for everybody. There's some paid events, some free events. Mayor O'Connell and I will be, I believe, out there on the 5th at 5:30 to kick off the festivities. There's a beer run. There's a lot of fun, different activities for everybody. So please come check it out. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Weiner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I appreciate it. For anybody that lives in the Bellevue area, that would include districts 22, 23, 34, and 35. On Thursday, between 2:30 in the afternoon and 7 in the evening, come to the new library, new, not the old one, and meet with the planning staff and me and your other council members to share with us what you would like to see us do to repurpose the old library. So we're going to meet at the new library. We're going to talk about the old one. Thank you.
Not confusing at all. Okay, Ms. Gadd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Just like some of the other districts, we also have a cleanup going on hosted by the Sylvan Park Neighborhood Association. We'll be doing a Richland Creek and Greenway cleanup, and then also at the Richland Farmers Market. We will be doing our first Tree Fest event of the year, and so we'll be helping distribute some saplings at Richland Park at the Farmers Market there, and we hope folks join. And then there is a neighbors hosted event, our meeting tomorrow evening for neighborhoods surrounding the what was the former Bellmead Theater. That's going to be, there's a proposal out there to expand the grocer. The grocer is a Kroger. And so the neighbors in that area are hosting their own meeting, and that meeting will take place tomorrow evening, October 4th at 7 p.m. And so folks can reach out to the neighborhood association groups, but I think they're hosting that at Innsworth. So you might want to make sure folks know. So if they want to kind of reach out or learn a little more about what the neighbors are thinking.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gadd. Any other council members seeking to be recognized? I see you, Councilwoman Suara. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Once everybody's done with the cleanup on Saturday, please come to Centennial Park. There will be the Celebrate Nashville Cultural Festival. It's a festival that's been going on for a long time, and it celebrates all the different cultures and the many communities that we have in Nashville. Enjoy some food from Africa, from Asia, from everywhere, and some dances. It's really beautiful. I hope you'll come out and celebrate the diversity that is Nashville. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Stiles, or Councilwoman Stiles, my apologies. You are recognized again, please.
No worries, Vice Mayor. Briefly, I know that we're getting ready to start our council meeting, but at the end of our council meeting, if all the members of Women's Caucus would be able to go up to the front so we could get a picture of our historic group, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Porterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I would be remiss if I did not share that from October the 8th to October 14th, the Tennessee State University will be celebrating our homecoming, and we have a week of events that will culminate on October 14th with a parade at 9 a.m., as well as the game at 5 p.m. TSU will be slaughtering Norfolk State University. If you would like any more information about the events, you can go to tnstate.edu/alumni/homecoming/events.aspx. Go Big Blue. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other council members seeking to be recognized? Because our main meeting is about to start in 5 minutes. Anybody else? I'm actually going to do that once we start the meeting. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Allen. I appreciate it. Anybody want to share about Walk to School Day? Does anybody have an event they're participating? There you go, Councilman Parker. You are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Henderson. So we've got the highlight school for Walk to School Day this year, which is happening tomorrow morning. October 4th is Schwab Elementary on Dickerson. And so at 7 a.m., we're going to be meeting at Trinity Community Commons, have a little celebration and a kind of a parade walk to the school. So District 5 residents, anybody in the area, other council members are welcome to join us out there. That's 7 a.m. tomorrow at Trinity Community Commons. I think that's 204 East Trinity Lane, 7 a.m. So please join us.
Thank you. And I as well received from Walk Bike Nashville a listing of some other participating schools. So I will send that out this evening to council members. But if there's not one that you're aware of or one in your district, because we are going to conclude pretty early this evening, you'll have plenty of sleep to get up and go and join Councilman Parker at Trinity Commons in his district for the walk to Schwab Elementary. So I appreciate Walk Bike Nashville organizing a walk to school today. I do want to acknowledge outside there was a critical mass ride of people on bikes coming to the council meeting and organizing outside to remind us about the importance of bikeable communities. So we do appreciate them coming and joining us at the council meeting. Okay, with that, we will conclude our announcements period, and we'll take just a few minutes to get things organized, and we will start the main meeting at 6:30. Thank you. Will the meeting please come to order? It is 6:30 p.m. And I want to welcome everyone to the first meeting of the new term for the 16th Metropolitan Council of Nashville and Davidson County. Today is Tuesday, October the 3rd, 2023. Will all members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation is being offered by Council Member at Large Zulfat Swara's daughter, Dr. Zainab Swara. Dr. Swara is a member of the Islamic Center of Nashville, a lecturer at MTSU, and a member of the Mayor's Behavioral Health and Wellness Advisory Council. Dr. Swara, you are recognized.
Thank you. I'm incredibly honored to state this invocation. It is part of the Business and Professional Women. It is the collect that they would recite before every meeting. I'm doing this in honor because that was my first experience of seeing my mother's work and advocacy, and also in honor of our Vice Mayor and also our 5 women at the front, and also this historic council that represents so many women. And shortly after I read the collect, my mother will say a prayer. Keep us, O God, from pettiness. Let us be large in thought, in word, in deed. Let us be done with fault-finding and leave off self-seeking. May we put away all pretense and meet each other face to face, without self-pity and without prejudice. May we never be hasty in judgment and always generous. Let us take time for all things. Make us to grow calm, serene, gentle. Teach us to put action, our better impulses, straightforward and unafraid. Grant that we may realize it is the little things that create differences, that in the big things of life, we are at one. And may we strive to touch and to know the great, common human heart of us all. And O Lord God, let us forget not to be kind.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Wakurobi had Hilani Mokhala Sidikin, Wakrijini Mokraja Sidikin, Wajahalali Min Laduka Sultan and Nasira. And say, our Lord, grant us a great beginning, and grant us a great ending, and grant us from yourself a supporting authority. As we embark on these next 4 years, we ask that you guide us in our deliberations. May the words of the collect inspire and propel us throughout our term. Today, as we reaffirm our commitment to the community covenant, we beseech you in your infinite mercies that you help us live up to it through our actions. May equity and justice be centered as we make decisions about housing, wages, education, security, etc. May this term be the best ever for our residents. Bless our mayor, our vice mayor, our council, our city, and our people. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you, Councilwoman Swara and Dr. Swara. That was lovely. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll of the 40-member Metropolitan Council of Nashville and Davidson County?
Councilmember Zulfat Swara.
Present.
Councilmember Delicia Porterfield. Councilmember Quinn Evans Siegel. Councilmember Berkeley Allen. Councilmember Olivia Hill. Councilmember Joy Kimbrough. Councilmember Quante Toombs. Councilmember Jennifer Gamble. Councilmember Mike Cortez. Councilmember Sharon Parker. Councilmember Clay Capp. Councilmember Emily Benedict. Councilmember Deontay Harrell. Councilmember Tanya Hancock. Councilmember Jennifer Frinsley Webb. Councilmember Jeff Eslick. Councilmember Aaron Evans. Councilmember Russ Bradford. Councilmember Jordan Huffman. Councilmember Jeff Gregg. Councilmember Jenny Welsh. Councilmember Terry Vo. Councilmember Tom Cash. Councilmember Jacob Coopin. Councilmember Rollin Horton. Councilmember Brandon Taylor. Councilmember Sherry Weiner. Councilmember Tom Druffel. Councilmember Brenda Gadd. Councilmember Jeff Prepty. Councilmember Courtney Johnston. Councilmember Robert Nash. Councilmember David Benton. Councilmember Tasha Ellis. Councilmember Sandra Sepulveda. Councilmember John Rutherford. Councilmember Joy Stiles. Councilmember Antoinette Lee. Councilmember Sandy Ewing. Councilmember Jason Spain. Vice Mayor, all 40 members are present.
Excellent. All right. As this is the first meeting of the term, there are no minutes that need to be approved, but I do believe there may be a message from the mayor. So, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome the Honorable Freddie O'Connell, the mayor of Nashville and Davidson County.
Well, what a moment. Madam Vice Mayor, council members, each of you worked so hard to earn your spot here on the Metro Council. And I remember, I'll say fondly, my first meeting 8 years ago. What I didn't know at the time was the ways in which my time on the council would change my life and leave me with an abiding sense of gratitude for the chance to serve my hometown and the city I love. I'm grateful to Vice Mayor Henderson for allowing me to speak with you in person tonight, and to the public who have entrusted us with the duty of leading and listening to the city. I am forever grateful. And to every council member for whom this is your first meeting, a special congratulations. Now the work begins. I want to share with you a few highlights of some of the work we've already begun in the mayor's office. Since September 14th, we formed 3 transition policy committees to help our office. They are looking closely at how Nashville grows, how Nashville works, and how Nashville moves. Those 3 committees will explore nearly every aspect of Metro government's work, including the various plans many of us have worked on and contributed to. The first meetings of transition committees were at the Bellevue Library last Wednesday. I got to give them their charge, meet with each committee individually, and I feel very positively that we have some of Nashville's best minds and hearts as a part of these committees. The plan is that their recommendations will be back on my desk in mid-November, and I look forward to sharing those with you all. Just over a week into the new administration, we've also made terrific progress on 15 fixes that I recommended during the campaign. They're all things we could initiate on day one in office that would tangibly improve the lives of Nashvillians, and we have. We've started building a customer-focused government and are working to build an office of neighborhoods and other staff roles focused on how we create investments that reach all 35 council districts. One of our first hires has been a constituent services coordinator who will be supporting the existing work of the Hub Nashville team. We want Metro to be an incredible customer service organization, and I hope council members will appreciate the improved condition of the City Hall elevator as you start the new term. WeGo has initiated new crosstown transit service, including express bus service to Nashville SC games, directly as a result of things I and some of you fought for in this budget. And frequent network services have extended to 1:15 a.m. We received a $2 million grant for violence intervention, which will become a critical part of our community safety plan and help us reduce gun violence in our city. Our transition committees, as mentioned above, are reviewing major city plans from the past several years to help us find every opportunity to get things done as quickly and as well as possible for the city. I've had some great preliminary discussions with Metro schools about high school start times and have gotten some great feedback from the community. We've started transparency initiatives in the mayor's office, including advisories about my public schedule and a media briefing we hope to do regularly. While I've directed the mayor's office staff to begin work on the 15 fixes, much of that work will be collaborative among all of us. When we work together, we get the best results. Now, for tonight's agenda, I'm excited to present Dr. Brian T. Fisher to this Metro Council for consideration as a nominee to the Board of Directors of Nashville General Hospital. Dr. Webb is here, and I want to be clear in my level of personal support for this institution. Our family is a Meharry family and knows full well the importance of Nashville General as both a teaching hospital and healthcare institution. As flu season begins and this year's vaccines have become available, in the next few days, I plan to drop by Nashville General to get my flu shot in person. If you're covered under Metro's insurance plan, there's no cost to you. If you visit nashvillegeneral.org, you'll see a Metro healthcare incentive, just another benefit of being a Metro employee. I do encourage all Nashvillians to protect yourselves and our community by staying up to date on vaccines, including the flu vaccine. Now, before I close, I should note, this Metro Council is history-making. The first Black Metro Council member and the first chair re-elected as the first Muslim woman in the state of Tennessee. Council members, all thanks to one. The first transgender member of an elected body in the state of Tennessee. Council member. And a majority of you are women for the first time in Metro history. And Vice Mayor, it is an honor to stand here tonight to see a front row that is all women. Congratulations. I was honored and delighted that so many of you joined us for the inauguration and swearing in on Saturday. Over the next few weeks, we will be working to schedule one-on-one meetings with each of you so we can directly discuss your personal priorities and priorities you know will exist for your district or the city this term. Thank you again for welcoming me to a chamber that feels like home. I'll be right downstairs. I look forward to what we can accomplish together in the next 4 years. I will stop short of saying I wish I could join you for the whole meeting. Thank you.
Council members and community members, while we get kind of reorganized here, I did want to recognize this evening that we are mourning the loss of retired Court of Appeals Judge Richard H. Dinkins, who passed on October 1st at the age of 71. Judge Dinkins served on the Court of Appeals from 2008 until his retirement in 2022. He was chancellor in Davidson County from 2003 to 2008. Tennessee Supreme Court Chief Justice Holly Kirby, who served with Judge Dinkins on the Court of Appeals, shared, Judge Dinkins was a pioneer and a treasured colleague. Tennessee is a better place today because of his lifelong work on civil rights, especially in public education and employment. So I hope you join me in extending our condolences to his family and his colleagues and friends. Additionally, on a more happy note, we are going to recognize students and chaperones visiting Nashville from our sister city of Magdeburg, Germany. This partnership has featured a strong and active Okay, colleagues. This partnership has featured a strong and active high school student exchange program since 2005, as well as artistic, musical, cultural, and social services exchanges. We are celebrating our 20th anniversary year with Magdeburg as a sister city. So we welcome our friends from Magdeburg, and we appreciate you very much joining us this evening. Welcome and thank you. All right, I wanted to announce as well for the television in the gallery, in addition to closed captioning that we have had for a while now in English and now in Spanish, we have added Arabic to the closed captioning. So this is kind of the technology update section of the agenda. But the Director of Information and Technology Services has asked me to share as well that we have updated our legislative management and voting software with the help of our vendor, Granicus. And ITS and the clerk's office have tested thoroughly and anticipate a smooth evening. But ITS staff will be in the room tonight, colleagues, as is a representative from Granicus. So if you experience any glitches, hopefully not, knock on wood, please call someone over to address that situation. As well, you will find on your desk, colleagues, Mr. Hurd from ITS staff has prepared a how-to for your VoteCast system if you want to refamiliarize yourself with that this evening. And so with that, we'll move into the main part of our agenda, and I will now recognize Councilwoman Sepulveda, Chair of the Rules Committee, for a motion on the rules of procedure.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. As council, we operate under the rules and procedures adopted by the body. The Rules Committee and any interested council member will be working on developing rules and procedures to govern the new term, and will bring those to the council for a full vote at a later date. I believe 4 years ago, then Rules Chair, Councilmember Rosenberg asked Ms. Zeitlin to summarize the rules, so I'll let her do that now. I'm not as funny as Dave, but there we go.
Okay, hang on.
Okay. Until then, we recommend that we use last term's rules with the amendment to Rule 15, which is on your desk. The amendment moves the day that council members will submit their CIB from October 31st to November 15th to allow for more time since the term has just started. So with that, I move that the 2019-2023 council rules and procedures in place at the end of the previous council term with the amendment to Rule 15 as the temporary rules and procedures for the Nashville Metropolitan Council until such a time as permanent rules are adopted by the council.
Okay, I hear a second to Councilmember Sepulveda's motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any saying nay? Any abstentions? Nope, the motion is adopted. All right, we are operating under our temporary rules of procedure with the exception of Rule 15, amended to extend the submission of our CIB entries. Okay, council members, you have received 2 communications from me on September 27th and the 29th announcing board and commission vacancies and that the council is responsible for filling. So on October 17th, the council will both nominate and elect members of this body to the following positions: President pro tempore, a planning commissioner, who will also serve as the Planning and Zoning Committee Chair, a Traffic and Parking Commissioner, 2 Metro Audit Committee members, and a short-term Rental Appeals Board member. There are vacancies for council representatives on the following boards and commissions, which will be filled by council committees. There are 2 vacancies on the Metropolitan Action Commission, 1 vacancy on the Metropolitan Safety Advisory Board, and our committee this evening for Public Facilities, Arts, and Culture did already fill their 3 vacancies for the Greenway and Open Space Commission. So please congratulate me, or rather join me in congratulating, nope, sorry about that. Join me in congratulating our colleagues, Councilman Kapp, Councilwoman Ewing, and Councilmember Welsh, who will be serving on the Greenway and Open Space Commission. All right. Additionally, there are 2 other vacancies on the Short-Term Rental Appeals Board that by passage of ordinance BL 2023-1528 are to be filled by election of the council. You will nominate a member of the Nashville community to fill this position, and all community nominees will be required to fill out a questionnaire and submit to the Metro Clerk, and then appear at the Council Rules Committee on October 17th. So pursuant to Rule 50, we will take nominations now for the Short-Term Rental Appeals Board position and hold the election on October 17th. So the floor is now open for nominations to the Short-Term Rental Appeals Board. Okay. Let's see. Ms. Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I nominate Kirk Lum, L-U-M-M.
Are there any other council members wishing to be recognized to nominate members from the community? Councilman Coopin.
I nominate Jay Jackson.
Councilman Cap.
Thank you. I nominate Mike Loico.
Are there any other council members wishing to make a nomination? Okay. With that, we have 3 total nominations. Ms. Darby, thank you. Ms. Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to nominate Nicole Williams.
Duly noted. Okay. Okay, we are now moving on to elections and confirmations. Councilmember Sepulveda, do you have your committee report, please? Go ahead.
I do. Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Rules Committee met, and we had several people come before us. So for, 1 second. Okay. For the Community Review Board appointment of Mr. Mark Nguyen for a term expiring on October 31st, 2026. Rules Committee voted 7 in favor, 0 against for approval. For the Hospital Authority appointment of Dr. Brian T. Fisher for a term expiring on September 6, 2028. Rules Committee voted 8 in favor, 0 against for approval. For Tourism and Convention Commission reappointment of Ms. Neely Glenn for a term expiring on June 30th, 2026. We voted 8 in favor, 0 against for approval. For the Tourism and Convention Commission reappointment of Mr. Mark Hayes for a term expiring on June 30th, 2026. We voted 8 in favor, 0 against for approval. For the Tourism and Convention Commission reappointment of Mr. Howard Kittle for a term expiring on June 30th, 2026. We voted 8 in favor, 0 against for a 1 meeting deferral. And for the Work Release Board appointment of Ms. Shannon Musgrave for a term expiring on June 1st, 2026. We voted 8 in favor, 0 against for a 1 meeting deferral.
Do you have a motion, Councilwoman Sepulveda, for those that were unanimously approved?
Yes, Vice Mayor. So with that, I move for approval of Mr. Mark Nguyen, Dr. Brian Fisher, Ms. Neely Glenn, Mr. Mark Hayes, for approval.
Oh, pardon me. Do we have one that we were going to remove? Okay, so Councilwoman Sepulveda, I apologize. Can you restate your motion? It is for the Community Review Board, Mr. Nguyen.
Yes, so I move for approval for the Community Review Board appointment of Mr. Mark Nguyen, for the Hospital Authority appointment of Brian T. Fisher, for the Tourism and Convention Center Commission reappointment of Ms. Neely Glenn, for the Tourism and Convention Commission reappointment of Mr. Mark Hayes. So I move for approval.
I have a motion and a second. And regarding? So were we doing that at this time and changing her motion? Okay. Ms. Sepulveda, I apologize. I understand that we will have a member who will be voting no on the appointment of Mr. Fisher. And so if you then could restate the motion or to just exclude Mr. Fisher at this time, and we will take that vote separately, please.
Yes.
Because we can only combine the motion, colleagues, for those that will not have a negative vote.
Yes, Vice Mayor. So I move for the approval of the Community Review Board appointment of Mr. Mark Nguyen, for the Tourism and Convention Commission reappointment of Ms. Neely Glenn, for the Tourism and Convention Commission reappointment of Mr. Mark Hayes, for the, and
that's it.
And that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sepulveda. I appreciate your patience with me. Okay, colleagues, we have a motion and a second for Mr. Nguyen, Ms. Glenn, and Mr. Hayes. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, moving through. Next, can you make a motion then, please, for Mr. Fisher and the Hospital Authority?
Yes, Vice Mayor. I move for the approval of the Hospital Authority appointment of Mr. Brian T. Fisher for a term expiring on September 6, 2028.
With a motion and a second, we will need to have a roll call because we anticipate a negative vote. And so with that, Mr. Clerk, can you open the machines, please? So colleagues, you are voting on the appointment to the Hospital Authority of Dr. Brian T. Fisher for a term expiring September 6th, 2028. Okay. Open the vote, please. Everybody votes on machines and just vote by voice, or? Councilwoman Porterfield, why are you seeking to be recognized, please?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. While we are getting my colleagues' system rebooted, could we get a selection from Councilmember Sepulveda? I think she has a karaoke song she wanted to bless us with.
Nobody
Oh,
wants to hear
never mind.
Councilwoman Sepulveda do karaoke right now. Nope, nope, nope. Well, apparently a lot of people do, but we're still not going to do karaoke
I look
here,
forward
so.
to karaoke with my fellow colleague, Ms. Gadd, who said that she loves karaoke by herself, but I'm not going to let her do that.
All votes are in. Mr. Clerk? Okay. Mr. Fisher is appointed. Dr. Fisher is appointed. All right, so. Okay. All right, bear with us, our appointees, please. So we also need to, Councilwoman Sepulveda, have a motion for a one meeting deferral on the remaining two appointees, please.
Vice Mayor, I move for a one meeting deferral on the reappointment of Mr. Howard Kittle and the appointment of Ms. Shannon Musgrave.
Okay, one meeting deferral for both those folks. And a second, all in favor say aye. Anyone voting no, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay. With that, a little bit of a hiccup there. All the appointees of the mayor are approved. And if the appointees would please rise to be acknowledged as I call your name, and if members will please hold their applause until all have been recognized. Mr. Mark Wynn for the Community Review Board, Dr. Brian T. Fisher for the Hospital Authority, Ms. Neely Glenn for the Tourism and Convention Commission, Mr. Mark Hayes, also for the Tourism Convention Commission. Thank you all very much. We appreciate your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you. I look forward to getting to know you.
We're now moving into the public comment portion of our agenda. We have 3 individuals who have signed up for the public comment period tonight. This public comment period is being held pursuant to Chapter 300 of the Public Acts of 2023. In the order of their sign up, we'll call you to the podium. Ms. Nicole Williams to speak on the Community Covenant Resolution.
Hello. Okay. Hello, Vice Mayor Henderson and members of council. It's good to be back in the historic Metro Courthouse, looking out at a council full of historic firsts. At the inauguration on Saturday, Vice Mayor Henderson said, "The Metro Council and I pledge to be ethical, accessible, and transparent. We will be critical, creative, and constructive. We pledge to listen and to take action." I hope you all take those words to heart. RS 2023-41 purports to create a community covenant with the aim of creating opportunities for all residents of Nashville to thrive. At the beginning of last term, the council passed a similar resolution and then spent 4 years breaking that covenant. 7 of the co-sponsors of this resolution voted in favor of the largest expansion of the surveillance state in Nashville's history. 7 voted in favor of the largest subsidy package in professional football history. Make no mistake, this resolution is performative. What actually matters is what comes next. What steps will you take to create opportunity for Nashvillians? Will you continue to pad MNPD's budget year after year with no regard for outcomes while continuing to underinvest in strategies that actually make us safe? Will you say you value the input of marginalized communities, then pass legislation that endangers those communities? Will you read and analyze the legislation that comes before you, or will you rely on paid lobbyists to do your work for you? I want to remind you, this is a community covenant, and we, the community, expect you to uphold your promises as outlined in this resolution and to abide by the pledge of your president, Vice Mayor Henderson.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Next to speak is the Reverend Davy Tucker.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to speak on behalf of this resolution. And you all know what's happening around our country, this resurgence of hate around our state and even in our city. I live in East Nashville, and there were KKK brochures passed out. But today, there was a house that was vandalized, and it has a bunch of racist markings on it. This covenant is aspirational, and it'll only be through your courage that it becomes a reality. This threat is real, it's here. You can put your head in the sand if you like, and it won't go away, and people will continue to be hurt. I'm reminded of even how laws are now clawing back rights and freedoms that folk fought a long time to get. Plessy versus Ferguson was the law of the land for 50 years. It was the precedent, but there were folk who were never settled with that as the precedent. From out of that, we get the Equal Protection Clause. Now the Equal Protection Clause has made a bad decision too. I'm just hopeful that people who know the difference of right and wrong, because you've heard me say it before, everything legal is not right. So when things are not right, we have to keep digging and pushing because they overturned Plessy. They will ultimately overturn this recent Supreme Court ruling, but you have to act with courage around those things that are right. Folks have died. Folks have given up their lives to fight for some of the freedoms that some of us have fought for. Some of you have enjoyed privilege. Use some of that on us. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Tucker. Next to speak is Seamus Purdy. Welcome, Seamus.
Good evening, all. I'm here as an MMPS senior at Hillsborough High, and I'm against Resolution 16 as it stands. I've spoken about the dangers of police in schools before y'all countless times. Multiple studies have shown that they disproportionately punish minority students, heavily increase suspension rates, decrease graduation rates, and more. However, Resolution 16 as currently written has a number of separate concerns. Nashville funded 74 SRO positions for $7.3 million in 2022. Why, after an increase of $4.3 million just 4 months ago, are we trying to accept over $3 million for more SROs? And this is for a department that routinely fails to fill all the positions that we offer them as a city. Why are we effectively doubling this budget in under a year? With only 48 MMPS middle and high schools, where are the presumed existing 100+ SRO positions located? As I understand, the current SRO agreement is for 2 SROs in high schools and 1 in middle schools, which we already surpassed with the current funding. Going by 2022 numbers, why do we need another roughly 34 positions? We saw the assistant police chief fail to sufficiently answer a number of questions in committee just 2 hours ago. With policing being an extremely important issue to people in Nashville, we also have a number of questions surrounding this grant that deserve to be addressed. You must have an avenue for this. Finally, students deserve to be productively built up rather than isolated and torn down. Students deserve accessible nurses, social workers, psychologists, emotional counselors, and paraprofessionals. We deserve people who will build a healthy community without sparking anxiety within students. If we accept this grant, we can come in and shift $3.3 million of Metro's own dollars to a department like MMPS to fund those essential positions, which are already significantly underfunded as we stand. This would help improve student safety in our schools.
Thank you, Mr. Purdy. We will now address resolutions on the consent agenda. The following items are on the consent agenda. Now we'll read through, colleagues, the bill numbers, the resolution numbers. RS 2023-1, RS 2023-2, RS 2023-3, 2023-4, 2023-5, 2023-6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41. Are there any items that need to come off the consent agenda? Councilman Bradford, you're recognized.
RS 2023-41.
Any other items that need to come off consent? Councilwoman Stiles, are you seeking to be recognized? You are recognized.
Yes, Vice Mayor. Forgive me, I believe number 8, 2023, 8.
Yes,
Do I
that
imagine
is
it?
on consent presently.
I'd like to pull it off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else seeking to be recognized? Oh, pardon me, Councilwoman Suara. Councilwoman Suara, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. 20 and 26, please.
Any other colleagues seeking to be recognized to remove a resolution from the consent agenda? Okay. Seeing none, nope, okay. Councilwoman Kimbrough, you're recognized.
I need a second. I need to find it. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. In fact, I'm going to read all the captions, and that may be helpful to you. And at the end of that, I will ask one more time again.
Thank you.
Okay? Okay, I will be reading the captions of the items on consent. RS 2023-1 is a resolution appropriating $45,500 from a certain account of the Community Safety Fund for a grant to pass the Beauty for South Nashville Community Safety Programs. RS 2023-2 is a resolution approving an application for a courtroom security grant from the Tennessee Administrative Office of the Courts to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the state trial courts to improve security in the historic Metro Courthouse and the Justice A.A. Birch Building through the addition of security cameras and the securing of executive and judicial parking in the historic Metro Courthouse garage. RS 2023-3, a resolution accepting a Tennessee Highway Safety Office Recovery Court Enhancements Grant from the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the state trial courts to fund various alcohol countermeasures and highway safety projects. RS 2023-4, a resolution approving the election of certain notaries public for Davidson County. RS 2023-5, a resolution extending the time within which the Tax Incentive and Abatement Study and Formulating Committee shall study and submit its complete report and recommendations. RS 2023-6, a resolution accepting the terms of a cooperative purchasing master agreement for pursuit vehicles and other special purpose vehicles with emergency upfitting for first responders. RS 2023-7, a resolution accepting the terms of a cooperative purchase master agreement for the purchase of mobile anti-ram, anti-vehicle barriers for the Nashville Department of Transportation. RS 2023-9, a resolution appropriating a total of $200,000 from the Office of Family Safety to various nonprofit organizations selected to receive Community Partnership Fund grants. RS 2023-10, a resolution accepting a community project funding grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Department of General Services to fund the construction of the third floor at 1354 Brick Church Pike for the future Nashville Assessment Center to provide therapeutic pre-charge diversion services to address low-level misdemeanor and youth offenses. RS 2023-11, a resolution accepting a donation from Music City, Inc. to the Nashville Fire Department of a 2023 Polaris ATV equipped with a medical bed to transport injured individuals. RS 2023-12, a resolution accepting an in-kind grant from Vanderbilt University Medical Center to the Metropolitan government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Fire Department to provide training materials for paramedics who participate in the pre-hospital airway control trial trauma airway study. 2023-13, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Mars Hanback against the Metropolitan Government of the Nashville and Davidson County in the amount of $145,000, with said amount to be paid out of the self-insured liability fund. RS 2023-14, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Edna Collier against the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County for $25,000, with said amount to be paid out of the self-insured liability fund. Do we have a withdrawal on 15? Okay. Do I have to go ahead and read it? Okay, got it. 16. Okay, 17. Okay. RS 2023-17, a resolution accepting a victim services state grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department to administer funds to enhance the use of evidence-based strategies to provide support services to victims of crime. RS 2023-19, a resolution approving Amendment 1 to a grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department for funding for the Internet Crimes Against Children Unit. RS 2023-22, a resolution approving an application for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant from the U.S. Department of Justice to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department for specialized training and equipment to ensure personnel maintain needed certifications for criminal investigation and crime reduction initiatives. RS 2023-23, a resolution accepting an in-kind grant from the Friends of Shelby Park and Bottoms to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to provide equipment and signage improvements to Shelby Park and Bottoms. RS 2023-24, a resolution accepting an in-kind grant from Vanderbilt University to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to replace the current video board at the Centennial Sportsplex. RS 2023-25, a resolution approving a contract between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health and Belmont University to provide a clinical experience opportunities for its nursing program students. RS 2023-27, a resolution approving a contract between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health and Family and Children's Service to provide Affordable Care Act navigators to screen individuals for health insurance eligibility at health department locations. RS 2023-28, a resolution accepting a grant from the Friends of Metro Animal Care and Control to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to provide funding for emergency medical care for shelter animals. RS 2023-29, a resolution approving Amendment 2 to a grant from the National Association of County and City Health Officials to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to partner with agencies and implement activities that address the community's challenges related to drug overdose deaths. RS 2023-30, a resolution approving a grant from the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Office of Homeless Services to the Contributor, Inc., to provide critical time intervention services to ensure that individuals are connected to supportive services that will address barriers to maintaining housing and achieving self-sufficiency. RS 2023-31, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure, to enter into a facility encroachment agreement with CSX Transportation, Inc. to construct, use, and maintain communications conduit and fiber in the railroad right-of-way along Broadway between 10th Avenue and 11th Avenue in Davidson County. RS 2023-32, a resolution supporting beautification of an underpass on Moorwood Drive in the Parkwood neighborhood under the Briley Parkway State Route 155 bridge, and approving an application for a license agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation. RS 2023-33, a resolution approving a second amendment to the ordinance BL 2017-590 to authorize the Director of Public Property Administration or his designee to acquire by negotiation or condemnation in the name of the Metropolitan Government fee simple interest in the parcel of property located at 2126 Abbott Martin Road for the purpose of realigning the intersection of Hillsborough Road with Crestmore Road and Glen Echo Road. Yay. Okay, RS 2023-34, a resolution authorizing Nashville Urban Venture LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 607 Overton Street. RS 2023-35, a resolution authorizing 125 11th Avenue Property Owner LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment over Alley 225, Corners Alley. RS 2023-36, a resolution authorizing 714 through 730 Main Street OZ LLC to construct and install aerial encroachments at 730 Main Street. RS 2023-37, a resolution approving a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Government and Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Department of Water Sewage Services and the Clear Blue Company to provide public sewer service improvements for Clear Blue's proposed development, as well as other existing properties in the area. RS 2023-38, a resolution to amend ordinance BL 2022-1588 to authorize the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon additional sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to update the map and parcel information for now 2 properties located at 110 Joe Johnson Avenue and 500 2nd Avenue North, also known as Metro Permanent Supportive Housing. RS 2023-39, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Department of Law to compromise and settle the property damage claim of Whitney Drury against the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County in the amount of $18,028.50, with said amount to be paid out of the Self-Insured Liability Fund. A resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Department of Law to compromise and settle the property damage claim of State Farm Insurance as the subrogee of Melanie Martin against the Metropolitan Government for $19,903.86, with said amount to be paid out of the Self-Insured Liability Fund. That concludes all the captions of the consent agenda resolutions. Now, having heard all the resolutions, are there any additional resolutions that colleagues need to come off consent? No. Okay. Is there a motion for approval of the consent agenda? Okay. Moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Oh, up. Councilman Rutherford.
Madam President, do we need committee reports?
We do, sir. Thank you. All right, it wasn't in the script, y'all. Okay. Let's see. Councilwoman Porterfield, as Budget and Finance Chair. Committee reports, please.
Thank you so very much, Madam President. Committee reports for RS 2023-1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 37, 39, and 40 were all approved, 13 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstentions. Would you also like the items not on consent, or shall I hold them?
Mr. Irving? We'll hold those, please.
Thank you, Vice
Thank you.
Mayor.
Councilman Parker, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Transportation and Infrastructure considered resolutions RS 2023-7, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38, and we recommended in favor of all of those resolutions, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Okay, Planning and Zoning, standing in as Chair Pro Tem, Councilman Rutherford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Planning and Zoning met and considered RS 2023 31, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38, voting 12 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstention on all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Stiles, you are recognized for the report of the Public Facilities, Arts and Culture Committee.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. We convened today and we discussed RS 2023-23 and also 2023-24, and they both passed 6 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilwoman Stiles. Public Health and Safety, Vice Chair Taylor, do you have the committee report, please?
Thank you. Public Health and Safety reviewed RS 2023 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17, 19, 20, 22, 25, 27, 28, 29. 10 in favor, 0 against, no abstentions.
Thank you, Vice Chair Taylor. Councilwoman Sepulveda, Chair of Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections.
Rules met and considered RS 2023-4, 5 in favor, 0 against. With that, I would move approval of the consent agenda.
Is there a second? Okay. Now, all those in favor of the consent agenda resolutions as read into the record, please say aye. Anyone voting no? Any abstentions? Okay. All right, now we're going back to Resolution 2023-8. Councilwoman Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please. Shall I start with my own committee report?
Yes, you can give your own committee report. Yes, ma'am.
All right, budget voted 13 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstaining.
Okay. And for Public Health and Safety, Mr. Taylor, regarding Resolution 2023-8, please.
Ten in favor, you said 8? I'm sorry.
This was a resolution approving a grant contract regarding the Office of Family Safety and the Safe Bar Program.
Got it. All right. With these numbers being small, I keep going back to the item number. No, it's number 8 on this one. 2023-8 was 10 in favor, 0 against. That on consent?
Thank you. Councilwoman Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move for approval with a brief comment.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much, colleagues. I would ask that you stand and support this legislation. The Safe Bar program is something that the Women's Caucus worked on last term, and it was something that was very important to us. So I just want to thank Councilwoman Stiles for her leadership with the Women's Caucus in guiding us on this and fighting hard for this. And this was something that the women of last term worked really hard to move forward. And with that, I would like to ask our colleagues to please support. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Porterfield, I'm just going to read into the record the full caption as it was not on consent previously before we take the vote, colleagues. So this is a resolution approving a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Office of Family Safety and the Sexual Assault Center for the provision of medical legal exams, therapy, and assisting with the Safe Bar program, all for the benefit of residents in Davidson County who are victims and survivors of sexual assault. With all committee reports in and Councilwoman Porterfield having made a proper motion, all in favor? Okay. Up. Councilwoman Suara, I'm going to get better about looking out of the corner of my eye. I apologize. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just, in support of the resolution, but I also wanted to ask that everyone voting in favor be added as a sponsor because this is such a huge resolution. And so I guess we're bringing the Murphy rule back.
You're invoking
Thank
the
you.
Murphy rule. If former Council Lady Kathleen Murphy is watching, she will be very, very pleased. Okay. New colleagues, the Murphy rule, should we choose to call it that, is for a resolution like this of broad community interest where one might assume that the whole body would want to be supportive. So that don't have to follow with that, but Councilwoman Suara is asking that, and I think we can do that this evening, having unanimously passed this resolution. Ms. Benedict, are you seeking to be recognized on a resolution that we've already passed? Okay, Councilwoman Benedict.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I wore my pearls in honor of Councilmember Murphy tonight, but I'm hopeful that we can call this the Toombs rule as we had discussed it towards the end of last term.
Yes. Okay. So now we will move to our next resolution that was not. Did we? Okay, just to be careful and clear, with Councilwoman Suara having requested the Murphy rule, let's then move again. Can I get a motion, Councilwoman Porterfield, for RS 2023-8, please? Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Absolutely, Vice Mayor. You're doing a wonderful job. Thank you. I would like to move for approval and that everyone that has voted in the affirmative be listed as a sponsor on the resolution.
Thank you. Is there a second? Having heard a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone voting no? Anyone abstaining? No. Okay, excellent. Moving on. The next resolution that was not on consent is RS 2023-20. Thank you. Okay, RS 2023-15, a resolution approving Amendment 1 to an Emergency Management Performance Grant from the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Office of Emergency Management to subsidize emergency management program. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. That's 2023-15. I do not have that anywhere. Vice Mayor, hold on. Oh, that's right. Thank you. I would like to withdraw, Vice Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item that was not on consent, resolution RS 2023-16, a resolution accepting a statewide school resource officer grant from the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department to provide funding to place school resource officers in all Nashville public, middle, and high schools. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Committee reports, please. Shall I start with Budget and Finance?
Yes, you may always start with your own committee, please.
All right, thank you so very much. Budget and Finance voted 12 in favor, 1 against, and 0 abstaining.
Okay. For the Public Health and Safety Committee, Mr. Taylor, are you providing that report?
Public Health and Safety, RS 2023-16 approved, 8 in favor, 2 noes, and 2 abstentions.
That's 8 in favor, 2 against, and 1 abstention?
2.
2 abstentions. Okay. Is there any discussion?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to move for a 1-meeting deferral with a brief explanation, please.
Okay.
Thank you so much. This is, colleagues, this is the resolution that one of our high school students, Seamus Purdy, just spoke on. And we had a very robust conversation. We didn't have a conversation in Budget and Finance. I think our colleagues were a little too nervous to not get to start asking questions. But we had a really robust conversation in Public Health and Safety, and we were able to get a lot of questions answered. But I do think that the young man who has spoken to us several times about concerns with SRO officers in schools brought up some really good questions. And I think that it is prudent upon us to get some of those answers before voting on this legislation. So I'm going to ask for a 1-meeting deferral, Vice Mayor, and I will go back and watch the record so that I can get Mr. Purdy's questions and get that to MMPD and request that it is given back to the body so that we can have those answers prior to voting. So I'm going to ask my colleagues to please support a 1-meeting deferral so that we can get that information prior to voting.
There is a proper motion for a 1-meeting deferral that is seconded. Is there any discussion on the deferral? Just raise your hand, please. Thank you. Ms. Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'm going to speak against the deferral. I think, I know that this is a controversial subject with SROs in schools. What I want to make clear is that this funding is to pay for SROs that are already there. So saying no to this funding just puts the entire financial burden on the Metro taxpayers. Saying no to this does not get rid of the SROs. Saying yes to it does not add SROs. There are going to be 2 SROs in every high school and 1 SRO in every middle school, no matter what. It's who's going to pay for it. And so this funding is to give Metro Nashville Police Department $75,000 per SRO. That does not cover the entire cost, but it certainly helps out a lot. So again, this is not to approve SROs. This is not saying that you're in support of SROs, but if we're going to have them anyway, why not take the help from the state to pay for it? Thank you.
Councilman Nash, are you still seeking to be recognized?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to second Councilman Johnston's request to not defer this. These grants are all time sensitive. We bump up against timelines all the time. And as she said, this does not add school resource officers. This is just to pay for those that we already have there, a stipend. And in our council committee discussion, the money that is offset by that will be taken care of during the 4% funding. That'd be lowering the police department's request. They plan on using those funds to offset some of the 4% requests.
Thank you, Councilman Nash. Councilwoman Benedict, are you seeking to speak on the deferral, 1-meeting deferral?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yes, I have a question in regards to the funding timeline. For, I guess, the administration, would the 1-meeting deferral put the funds in jeopardy at all for us receiving them?
Would someone at the administration want to speak to that? Hang on just a second. Your mic is open. Okay. Councilwoman Benedict, can you restate your question, please, for the
Sure.
benefit of the administration?
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. My question is, the question came up, there's time limits oftentimes on grant funding. If we move this deferral, if this is deferred until the next council meeting, are those funds still going to be available to us, or is it risking the funding? Will the funding no longer be available?
Can the administration respond at this juncture?
So
Okay, well,
would-
so
Yeah,
that maybe is making. Okay, so the administration has indicated that they do not know the deadline, but they will find out. And so would you like to conclude your comment?
Yeah, with that, and, well, I mean, I guess there's two things there. One, it sounds like it probably would be fine, or we would know, I would hope. Secondly, the leverage of this body is to have deferrals so that we can gather information. So even though the money needs to go towards what we're already paying for, and that this will fund that, in order for this body to get transparency and answers, we can use our power to say, we're going to defer this until you give us the information that we and the public need. And so with that in mind, I hope we're able to get these answers. I hope that my colleagues are supportive of a one-meeting deferral so we can get those answers. And again, it sounds like hopefully the funding is not going to be a problem for that for this to be deferred. So I would ask my colleagues to defer. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Evans, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I think I was in public safety for this discussion, and that was an answer. We couldn't get an answer on the deferral timeline and if there would be an impact to the grant in committee either. And I think that feels like a minimum amount of information that we should have whenever any grant is coming towards us. And I don't know how to best effectuate that, if that needs to come at the vice mayoral level or council attorney, Director Darby, something like that. But that was something that's really stood out to me in the deliberation from my peers, is that we didn't have that basic information. And ultimately, while if there is an impact from a grant perspective, we already have funded it anyway. And so is it not worth it to continue to have the conversation? So I'm in support of the deferral for one meeting.
I appreciate that. Councilman Rutherford, you're recognized.
Previous question.
Okay, we have called the previous question. Council Lady Allen has requested a point of order, which is you can request, make your point of order.
Thank you. My question was, does the deferral automatically re-refer that back to the committee?
No, it would not. Okay. Councilman, Ms. Lee, point of inquiry.
I guess this is what this would be. So if this isn't working, is there some
Yes,
way?
ma'am. I
is
apologize.
working?
It is not working. So
Okay,
the
so-
reason we are raising hands,
So
colleagues,
if this is not working, is there some way that you could have someone on this side of you to help you look for hands too? Because I did notice one of my colleagues on this side had a hand way up before it was called for the question. So just to help all of the eyes, if you would, please.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
My terminal was not working, colleagues, so I was not signed in correctly, so I could not establish the queue. So I should have clarified that to you all, so you were aware. The queue is now working, but the question has been called, so we are voting on whether to call the question. Okay? So this is only on whether or not to call the question. Calling the question ends discussion. If you want to continue to discuss this matter, and there are some other colleagues who would still like to speak. So if you want to continue discussion, you would vote no. If you want to end discussion, you would vote yes. Mr. Clerk, can you open the machine? Yes, point of order. Mr. Parker, you're recognized. Hang on. Yes, sir. Hang on.
Motion that we would be going back to if we do call the question is,
One meeting deferral.
so for colleagues, if you wish to go back to that question, you'd vote yes. And if not, you'd vote no.
Correct. Wait. No.
I apologize. That was,
Yes.
The previous question ends debate, we would go back to we'd automatically go to
Okay.
vote
Okay.
yes if you want to vote on the deferral immediately. Vote
Thank you,
no if you
Councilman
want to
Parker.
continue discussion.
If
That's-
you-
I said that weird, but that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. Is everyone clear? Okay, thank you. It's okay, colleagues. It's the first time we've had this meeting. We're getting it figured out. Ms. Ellis, do you have a point of order?
Check my
You're
notes
recognized,
one
Ms.
time.
Ellis.
I'm going to say point of order because I still need to update the rules or read up on the rules, but what do I need to vote to be able to hear Mr. Prepty speak? No. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I appreciate the adjacent colleagues coming in for support there. Well done. That's for all new members. You can inquire with your adjacent colleague. We're all here to help. Okay. Okay. All right. So we need 27 votes to call the question. So we are proceeding with a vote. Mr. Clerk, are we ready? Okay. So you're voting to call the question, end discussion, go back to the vote for deferral. Okay. Open the machines, please, Mr. Clerk. All votes are in. Mr. Clerk, show the vote, please. Okay, the motion fails. So we are back to debating the deferral motion. Okay, we now have a queue, colleagues, that is operable. And so I'm going to go in the order of the queue at this juncture. Okay. Councilwoman Sepulveda, you're recognized.
I'll give my time to Councilmember Prepty since he was first.
Councilmember Prepty, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, colleagues, for allowing me the opportunity to address this body. Something that I want to say is what we do in this chamber is just as important as how we do what we do in this chamber. One of the most important things that we have to do is making sure that we are passing legislation with transparency, with honesty, and answering the questions that our constituents have of us. I fully believe that this chamber is one of the last bastions of democracy in this state. We have consistently seen attacks on our most basic democratic principles, throughout this past year. Part of the reason why I ran for this body is to make sure that our democratic principles are upheld. That is why I rise and speak in favor of this deferral, to make sure that we are doing this in the right way, making sure that we are answering those questions, making sure that we are giving credence to the voice of our constituents who come here and bare their hearts in telling us what they need from us and in being able to answer these questions that frankly I believe we did not get answered in. That is why I rise to speak in favor of this deferral, and I implore every single one of you to vote for this deferral. Thank you.
Is there anyone else seeking to be recognized? Okay. Councilwoman Swire, be patient with me, okay? So basically, I had half of my needed technology here, so I didn't have a queue to start. And I do not show you in the queue. You're recognized, Councilwoman Swire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I want to remind us of a couple of things as I speak in favor of the deferral. When the conversation about the state funding SRO first started, we had a conversation and we were told that the police department would not ask for that money. That was the first thing that was mentioned at some point. And then we had a bill that came in from the administration and we had a robust discussion. And when that conversation was going on, that bill was eventually pulled. And with the understanding that actually for this particular grant, there's no need for council approval because they could just apply for it anyway. And so I'm trying to remind everyone where this conversation is being and how we've got here. And so it seems as if the conversation has not really fully happened. And every time we try to have it, something happened that pulls it back. So I'm going to say that we need to have this conversation. We need to have the questions answered. I'm speaking for the deferral. We need to defer. I will never vote for SRO. Let's put that on the record. But that's not what this is about. But let's make sure that we get all that answered. Let's allow ourselves to be able to have that conversation. This is the third time that something happened and we're like, no, you don't need to say anything. We're going to pull it. We're going to apply for it anyway. And now we're back. So I'm saying, please, let's get those questions answered. Let's do the one meeting deferral. I don't think it's urgent because we've been talking about this application for some time. So one meeting is not going to do anything to it. Thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Sepulveda, are you still seeking to be recognized on the one meeting deferral? Okay. Councilman Coupin, are you seeking to be recognized on the one meeting deferral?
I would just like to ask, is there a way to get that answer about whether a deferral affects the ability to collect the grant prior to voting?
Okay. The administration is recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. A one meeting deferral should not have any issue with receiving the grant funds.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, Councilman Coupin. Council Lady Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to renew my motion for the one meeting deferral. And to be clear, I'm not asking at this time for the funding to be voted down. What I'm just asking for is the opportunity for us to acknowledge that we received questions that were valid questions. And while some questions were talked through in committee, we didn't get those questions. And I think they're really valid questions. And I just want to honor that. In the participation of democracy, we have a teenager. Most adults don't watch these council meetings, but we have a teenager that has been committed to watching council meetings, to commenting on legislation, and to giving meaningful feedback. And I think that that is the least we could do to honor our constituent. So again, I'm just going to ask that our colleagues support the one meeting deferral so that we can get these questions answered. So I would like to renew my motion for a one meeting deferral, Vice Mayor.
Councilman Cash, you're recognized on the one meeting deferral.
Thank you, Chair. I support the one meeting deferral, especially after getting the answer from the administration. I appreciate that. I guess some of the questions that I have, and I know this may not be something that, some of these things may not be something that can be worked out this year, but the word in the, I'm a schools person and I believe in schools over a system. I mean, I support the school system, all schools, But the word all in this resolution and this decision that all schools are going to have this or no schools are going to have this is troubling to me. I believe I don't want to take something away from a school that doesn't want it taken away. However, if there's a school, if a school would choose to spend money differently, I would want to support that. And on that point, I'd like to know what kind of feedback we're getting from schools. I know as a data person in schools for 5 years, schools do like questionnaires and surveys to get feedback from families and students and teachers. And I'd like to know if this is something that is included or can be included in their annual survey so we can get feedback on how stakeholders feel about it. And I also, if by chance we vote against this and refuse the money, I would like to know, kind of get a sense from the school board what their action would be. So I do support the deferral. Thank you.
Okay, is there any additional discussion on the deferral? Okay, our digital queue is still not working, so colleagues, we're going to revert to hands. My apologies. Mr. Cap, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I'm not on the relevant committee, but I was present for the discussion and was able to myself raise a couple of points. One is that we learned there's an MOU between the MNPD and MNPS. This is a question really for staff. Are y'all able to circulate that MOU to this body between now and the next meeting should the deferral succeed so that we can have it?
Ms. Darby, you're recognized.
There is an MOU. There may be confidentiality issues with the MOU, but there is no MOU that the state requires the MNPD and MNPS to execute.
Oh, yes. I'm just wondering if that can be circulated to the council.
We can try to circulate that, yeah.
Okay, great. And also, I just would refer colleagues to the committee discussion where the MNPD said that they would be able to provide this body data about SRO involvement with youth and schools if we asked for it. So I'm not actually sure how to procedurally do that. I'm not asking to do that now, but in committee, the answer from the MNPD was that they could provide that data to us if we wanted it.
Yes, you can simply pose that question to the administration or in committee. If MNPD was represented there, you can make that question to them, or your committee chair can do the same.
Yes, I just wanted to let this body know that the answer was that they could provide the data.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, as I understand it, the request to speak is working. So can you press the button, Ms. Allen? Is it not working? Okay. I'm gonna Councilwoman Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I think I know what the issue is, colleagues. You see 3 buttons at the bottom. One says on the floor and one says agenda. You have to push on the floor, and that's the legislation that we're looking at, and then you press request to speak, and that will put you in the queue that Vice Mayor can see. If you only push agenda and you push request to speak, it will put you in a ambiguous queue that Vice Mayor cannot see. Our previous Vice Mayor could not see that one as well. So we don't know where that goes. But if you press on the floor and then request to speak, you're in the queue.
Okay, Councilwoman Allen, you are recognized to speak on the one meeting deferral of Resolution 2023-16.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I support the deferral. I think it's great to get more information. I would like to see if we could amend that to refer it back to the Public Safety Committee, if the sponsor of the deferral amendment would be open to that request.
Yes.
Okay, and can you then restate the motion, Councilwoman Porterfield?
Absolutely. I would like to move for a 1 meeting deferral with a re-referral back to Public Health and Safety.
Okay, colleagues, so it is still a one-meeting deferral motion, but the motion has been augmented with a re-referral to the appropriate committee, because a re-referral is not always automatic. Okay, so Councilwoman Porterfield has amended her motion at the request of her colleague, Councilwoman Allen. So is there any other discussion on a one-meeting deferral with a re-referral to Public Health and Safety? Councilman Nash, you are recognized, sir. Oh, sorry. Oh,
Yeah. Not so obvious after all. Testing, there we go. I'm not as concerned about the deferral as I was earlier, given that we've got time to get that. But going back to our committee discussion, the discussion that where we talked about deferring and did defer for what recommended deferral was about the PAL program and the money, the grant to accept it for the new director of that PAL program. So I hope we haven't mixed up the two in this discussion.
okay, Councilwoman Webb, you are recognized.
I'm not sure if my question is on the deferral or the actual first question. I wanted to know what information she was looking for. What were the questions that were unanswered? And I don't even know if I'm allowed to ask that question.
Yeah, you don't address a colleague, you address me
Okay,
as
Vice
the
Mayor,
chair.
okay.
And so what we're speaking on now is whether you support or do not support a one-meeting deferral with a re-referral to Public Health and Safety. So,
So I wait till we vote on that, and then I go back to that question.
that's what I would suggest. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right, colleagues. Seeing no further discussion or anyone requesting to speak on the one meeting deferral of RS 2023-16 with a re-referral to Public Health and Safety, Mr. Clerk, would you please open the machines for the vote, please? It's a motion to defer one meeting with a re-referral to the committee. So we've addressed 15, we're about to address 16, but 8 was pulled off for consent. And we didn't address it. That's when Styles said she wanted to speak on it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm kind of figuring it out here. Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah. All votes are in. Mr. Clerk, please show the vote, please. Okay, look at that, colleagues. The deferral passes almost unanimously. Okay. Moving on to Resolution RS 2023-18. This is a resolution accepting a community-based traffic safety enforcement and education grant from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department to continue the enhanced DUI enforcement initiative and target distracted driving and seat belt enforcement. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining.
Thank you. Councilwoman Evans, you are recognized for the report from Public Health and Safety Committee, please. Oh, I apologize. Councilman Taylor, Vice Chair Taylor, you have the reports this evening.
Thank you. Committee approved, 8 in favor, 2 against, and 3 abstaining.
Okay, Councilwoman Porterfield, you have a motion?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to move for approval, please.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion, which is why you pulled off consent. Who had wanted to discuss this matter? Is there anybody in the queue for discussion on this matter that was pulled from consent? Pardon? Okay, all right. So I think we can just move to the vote because you.
Committee, I believe that's why it's off consent.
I appreciate that. So you did not have unanimous approval in committee. Councilwoman Kimbrough, yes, ma'am.
I would just like to make my concern on the record. And I did in committee, and it's based on the position of my constituents as well as my own position. I was concerned, like a lot of these involve just grants going here, there, and the other. There's not enough discussion or understanding. It's almost like we're becoming rubber stamps for whatever comes through. I was concerned about the DUI, this grant and enforcement. To begin with, Metro Police are gonna prosecute DUIs anyway. They're gonna do it, and I know that from being an attorney, and I just know they're gonna prosecute DUIs. I was concerned about this grant because as I read the exhibit attached to the grant, it almost became a quota issue. Metro Police has to have its checks and balances with the provider of the grant, which is outside our jurisdiction. So they have to provide this information to them. And even if they want to make a statement about an issue, they have to get approval first from the grant provider. So if something comes up, they're bound by contract to provide the body issuing the grant with all the information they need first. I just have questions about this, and I have questions about the language, like target driving. And I know, and I said this in committee, they talk about targeting distracted driving, and that distracting is ambiguous. And when we start using terms like that, it does allow for pretextual stops and that sort of thing. I'm also concerned because our chief law enforcement agent here in Davidson County, the district attorney's office, has rejected funds for DUI enforcement, and I believe for some of these same reasons. I'm just saying, I don't think we should just blindly become rubber stamps. We shouldn't blindly just anything department say, this is what we need, this is, and give us these little paragraph or summaries, and then, oh, I didn't realize I was on timer. And then we just say, okay, that's all right. We're going to approve it because it has MNPD on it. So I had an issue with that, and I'm pretty much repeated it just now.
Okay, I appreciate that, Councilwoman Kimbrough. So you have shared with the body why you chose to vote no in Public Health and Safety Committee. Appreciate you sharing that with colleagues. Do you have a motion that you would like?
I would also like, I guess the motion to defer this since we're going to be talking to MNPD anyway, a motion to defer to get clarification so we can ask some questions and we can vote intelligently based on knowledge and having our questions answered. And I may very well say, oh yeah, this is a good idea, but I just don't like blindly voting based on summaries.
Okay, but did you discuss this in committee, Councilwoman Kimbrough? Okay.
I did.
So, right, so nobody's blindly voting then. If people read their analysis and discuss it in committee. But if you are making a motion to defer, that is a proper motion. Is it seconded, colleagues?
Vice Mayor, let me respond. No, I stand on we were blindly because if we have questions about the summary and still have questions based on what the summary said, then we are blindly voting. I meant what I said.
I appreciate that. If I may, Councilwoman Kimbrough, you can move a deferral in committee. Did you move a deferral there?
Yes.
Okay, and that motion failed in committee?
No.
Okay.
Okay, it may have been the other one I moved for deferral, the last one. I did the last one.
Okay.
Deferral.
All right, so
Sorry, I was wrong on that deferral.
Councilwoman Kimbrough has made a motion for a one meeting deferral.
Yes.
Is there a second? Not hearing one, we are moving on to You did second the motion. My apologies. Thank you for clarifying, Councilwoman Darby. Okay, so colleagues, we have a motion for a one meeting deferral that is properly seconded by Councilwoman Suara. Is there any discussion about the one meeting deferral for this resolution? Councilman Nash, you are recognized on a one meeting deferral.
I am not sure what questions we continue to have about every grant that seems to come up in the police department tonight. I can assure you that this is a grant that we received from the state for years. It pays overtime for some officers to go out and do DUI enforcement. Same time, they'll be looking for people that are on their phones and the like, and getting some dangerous drivers off the streets. I speak against the motion to defer. It's time to move on some of these. Thank you.
Is there any additional discussion on Councilwoman Kimbrough's one meeting deferral? Councilwoman Porterfield.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I think if we can remember that today is everyone's first meeting, and if we can show a little bit of grace to our colleagues as people are learning procedures, it would be helpful. And for the record, we have passed a lot of grants for the police department tonight. So it's not that we have stopped everything, but we do have some questions. We want people to have the opportunity to get their questions answered. Returning colleagues understand the process of getting these questions answered in committee. Our newer colleagues are just learning the process. So if we could just have a little bit of grace tonight so that we can help our colleagues to understand the process, it would be very much appreciated. Vice Mayor, my question would be if we could get clarity on which questions Councilmember Kimbrough would like answered so that we can have the information. If we do go forward with the deferral, we can make sure that that time is productive and we can get those questions answered. So if it would be appropriate, if Councilmember Kimbrough could share with us which questions she would like answered so that that could be worked on if the deferral passes. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Councilwoman Kimbrough, you are recognized to augment your motion for deferral to include the questions that you would like to pose to the administration to be answered during the time of the deferral. You're recognized.
Yes, I'd like to move to defer along with my questions I would like answered with that deferral.
Okay. So Councilwoman Porterfield, I appreciate the sentiment there, but not having seen the committee discussion, staff can observe the committee discussion. Ms. Kimbrough can speak with staff and make sure that her questions are addressed in the interim time. So colleagues, we have a motion for a one-meeting deferral that is properly seconded. Is there any further discussion on the deferral motion? Okay, all in favor of the deferral, one meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, please say no. Okay, the deferral motion fails. Okay. I would ask that we please make sure that we get Ms. Kimbrough's questions answered, though, please, staff and administration. Thank you. Okay. On the main motion. Okay. Okay. We are back on the main motion for RS 2023-18, a resolution accepting a community-based traffic safety enforcement grant. Is there any further discussion on the motion for approval? Seeing none, all those in favor of the acceptance of this grant in RS 2023-18, please say aye. All those not in favor, all those voting against, please say no. Okay. Councilwoman Kimbrough should be recorded, please, as voting no. Thank you. Point of order, Councilwoman Sepulveda, you are recognized.
You didn't ask for abstentions.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sepulveda. So on the vote for 2023-18, were there any abstentions, please? Okay. Okay. All right, colleagues, we're working it out. So we had a no vote on the resolution, which means we have to go to roll call. So I do apologize, colleagues. So what do we need to do next, Ms. Darby? Okay. Would you please open the machines, Mr. Clerk? So we are voting on a resolution accepting a community-based traffic enforcement and education grant from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office of Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, RS 2023-18. Mr. Clerk, are we ready? The vote is open. Hey, Margaret, can you start? Okay. All the votes are in. Mr. Clerk, show the vote. Okay, the motion passes. Okay, moving on to the next item, not on consent, is RS 2023-20, a resolution approving Amendment 1 to an intergovernmental agreement by and between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for extra duty police services. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 13 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstaining.
Thank you. Councilman Bradford, Vice Chair of Public Health and Safety, you are recognized for your committee report, please. Taylor,
Okay.
sorry. Buddy, woo.
10 in favor.
Bradford
We
Taylor.
look just alike. 10 in favor, 0 against.
It's the blue suits, right? I don't know. I'm sorry, Councilman Taylor, 10 in favor,
10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
0 against. Okay, 0. Okay, 0 abstentions. Okay, Council Lady Porterfield, you are recognized for a motion.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Seems like Councilmember Taylor has a second twin now, as Luis is also his twin. But with that, I would like to move for approval, Vice Mayor.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion for approval, properly seconded. All in favor, or any discussion? Councilwoman Suara, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I pulled it just for clarification, and if this was asked in budget yesterday, my apologies to everyone. But in looking at the fiscal analysis, it did say that the contract expired March 31st, 2023. And so I just wanted clarification if that was an error or if this contract already ended. Just trying, or is it just a mistake in the analysis? But it did says that the grant expires March 31st, 2023.
Can the administration clarify, please?
Give us a second, we'll get that. I think it's a typo.
Ms. Darby, you're recognized.
Sorry, apologies. That is a typo in the analysis. It says the analysis says the amendment extends the end date of the contract to March 31, 2023. That's incorrect. It should be, I believe, 24, if not 26, but it's a typo.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Suara, for your attention to detail. That was pulled for a clarification point, and colleagues, that has been identified as a typo. So with a motion for approval properly seconded, any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All against, vote no. Any abstentions? Okay, you approve. Next is RS 2023-21, a resolution approving an application for a hotspot violent crime intervention fund targeted community crime reduction project grant from the Tennessee Office of Criminal Justice Programs to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department to utilize funding for the formation of the PAL program to help build strong community relations and facilitate early intervention in the lives of at-risk youth, and to purchase equipment and increase staffing to better prepare officers to respond to violent crime incidents. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 12 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstaining.
Abstention. Councilman Taylor for the report from Public Health and Safety Committee, please.
Thank you, Public Health and Safety. Voted to defer this one meeting, 7-4-0. So 7 in favor, 4 against, 0 abstaining.
Okay.
And I believe this may automatically,
That's a deferral by rule. Okay. So RS 2023-21 is deferred one meeting by rule. Okay, next, not on consent was RS 2023-26.
Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstention. I'm sorry, I jumped the
I
gun.
have to read the
think you needed to
caption.
read the caption,
Yeah,
my
I have to
bad.
read the caption, Councilwoman Porterfield. A 2023-26 is a resolution appropriating a total of $355,200 from the Metropolitan Government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to Neighborhood Health, Inc., and approving a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health and Neighborhood Health, Inc. to provide homeless individuals with medical and dental services at 2 or more clinics in or near downtown Nashville. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized now.
Thank you, Madam President. I was so excited to get medical and dental services for our unhoused neighbors. I jumped the gun. Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining.
Thank you. Councilman Bradford, Vice Chair of Public Health and Safety Committee, you are recognized for your committee report, please.
thank you,
Why do
Council.
I keep doing this? I'm so very sorry. Councilman Taylor.
It is
I'm
okay.
just literally looking at it and it's just right there.
We're twins. 10 in favor, 0 against for Health and Hospital.
And any abstentions, sir?
0 abstentions.
Okay. Okay, with committee reports in, Councilwoman Porterfield, do you have a motion?
I would move for approval.
Okay, motion is approved, properly seconded. Any discussion? Councilwoman Swire, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to be marked as abstaining.
Okay. With her marked as abstaining, can we still do a voice vote? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Any abstaining? Okay, you adopt. Almost there, colleagues. RS 2023-41 was also removed from consent. Okay, this is a resolution renewing the support and commitment of the Metropolitan Council towards principles constituting a community covenant with the aim of creating opportunities for all residents of Metropolitan Nashville to thrive. Councilwoman Swara, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilwoman Porterfield, you're recognized. No, that's wrong. Where were we referred? Up over here. Rules. Councilwoman Sepulveda, you are recognized for the report of the committee on Resolution 41. Got to clear the queue. Hang on. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Rules voted in favor, 5 in favor, 0 against.
Councilwoman Swara, do you have a motion?
Yes, please. I'd like to move for approval with a comment.
Yes, please. You're recognized.
Thank you. I want to thank all the community partners that helped put this resolution together. A lot of them are sitting in the audience. They've been waiting all night. I want to thank them for the work that they do in the community, but I also want to thank them for recognizing that it is important to call this council to task. The first resolution, similar resolution, was passed 4 years ago when we started talking about the welcoming nature of Nashville and the diversity of this council. But we recognize, the community partners recognized at the time, and this was a project led by the late Harvey Poster and Pastor Charlie Strobel, both giants in the community that work to make sure that life is better for everyone in our community. And they realized that the work of the advocates and the non-for-profit is not complete without the legislative aspect of it. So this resolution, I'm going to implore all of you to please read it and take it to heart. When you look at everything that it talks about, it details all the many decisions that we make, housing, education, and all of it. And it's calling us to take to task to please remember that at the center of everything that we do is the people of Nashville. The resolution is asking that we make sure that when we're making decisions, we do not look at race, color, gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and all of that, but to also look at people as people, and to also make sure that the services that we're providing, the wages, the education, is one that allows the people of Nashville to be able to thrive. A lot was said this afternoon about a growing city. A lot was said about people in Nashville not benefiting from the growth that they see every day. And it is our responsibility as a government that's supposed to take care of the people to make sure that we do that. I will say that 4 years ago, this was one of the first things that I signed on to. And I can tell you that for 4 years, I remember this covenant every time that I make a decision. Every decision that I make, I go back to this covenant. No matter the outcome, one way or the other, my compass was this covenant. And I'm going to tell you that it helps. At the end of the day, that's what it should be about. A good government is one that looks out for the people and serves the people. And we all of us, wants to make sure that our community, as diverse as we all look here, this beautiful crowd that I'm looking at in the audience and all of you, we come from different parts of the city and we serve different people. And we want to make sure that every single one of them see their faces not just sitting down, but that their needs are met. So this resolution is asking that we do that for these 4 years and that we take care of our people. I'm proud to bring it, and I'm also asking, I think part of it is hoping that every 4-year terms we'll pass this resolution. So with that, I will ask for the Murphy rule again to be invoked. And also, I wanted to thank everyone that worked on it and hope you all vote in favor. Thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Swara has moved approval. It was properly seconded. Is there any discussion or anyone wishing to speak on this resolution? Okay. Councilwoman Sepulveda, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I do want to thank my colleague for leading the effort this year on the community covenant. We passed a similar covenant 4 years ago, and I think that we fell short of what we had promised the county of this county and this city that we would do. And so I would implore all of y'all to live by what we are saying we are committing to here. This is going to set the tone for the next 4 years in which we fight for workers' rights, affordable housing, transit, for teachers, for our Metro employees. We are the front lines of the dynamics between the city and the state, and we're going to come upon some hard votes, and we're going to have to be courageous when the state tells us that we can't do something. And we found out that when we are courageous, we win. And when we are courageous, our city wins and this county wins. And so for these next 4 years, I implore y'all to be courageous, to think outside the box, to be creative, to push for better for this city, because that is what our constituents are asking for. No matter where they come from, if they're new or not, who they love, what they look like, even if they are undocumented. And I like to remind you all that they are still your constituents. And those that are unhoused are also your constituents, even though they might not have a roof over their head. So with all that being said, I look forward to working on this covenant with you all the next 4 years. And I look forward to working with the unions, with the workers, with the teachers, with our employees to make sure that we do better for this city.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sepulveda. Councilman Coopin, are you still looking to be recognized? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to second what Councilmember Sepulveda said, and was at the press conference earlier and heard earlier comments about, was this a performative gesture? Or is this really a document we're going to follow? And I think that I would encourage my colleagues and myself included to look at this document, refer back to this document, and really use it as a guiding principle. I think a lot of us ran on the foundation of being a body by the people and for the people. And I know I plan on referring back to it as I make my decisions. And just want to encourage my colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
Anyone else seeking to be recognized on the Community Covenant Resolution? Okay. We've had approval properly seconded, and Ms. Suara has invoked the Murphy rule for all to be signed on upon passage. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone voting no? Any abstentions? Okay, you adopt the Community Covenant. Councilwoman Porterfield, you have a late filed resolution. You are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Okay. Ms. Sepulveda, this was a late filed resolution. Can you have a report, please?
Yes, Councilmember Porterfield came before the committee, and we had no objections to the late filed nature of the resolution. We voted 6 in favor, 0 against. 7
Okay.
in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Hang on. Ms. Porterfield, do you wish to suspend the rules to move approval of your late filed resolution?
Yes, Vice Mayor, I would like to suspend the rules.
Okay. Councilwoman, okay. All right. We're going to move to suspend the rules for a late filed resolution. Are there any objections to suspension of the rules to honor the life of Mr. Arnett Bodenheimer? Seeing none, we vote to suspend the rules. The rules are suspended. Okay. Councilwoman Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Nashville experienced a great loss with the passing of Arnett Bodenheimer Sr. He was a constituent of District 29, but he was also, he belonged to all of Nashville. He was a jewel in the community. He was beloved in our city. He was a veteran. He served our country for more than 20 years and did tours all across this world, protecting us and protecting our freedom. He also was a president of the NAACP here in Nashville, increased college engagement and youth engagement. He served on various boards and commissions in our city, including the Sports Authority, the Planning Commission, the Parks and Auditorium Commission. He served as vice president of 100 Black Men of Middle Tennessee and chairman of the board of trustees at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. He served on the Tennessee Veterans Home Board. He was a decorated veteran with the U.S. Army Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star with 2 oak leaf clusters, Army Commendation Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters, and several letters of accommodation and appreciation from a number of civic organizations. He was so many things to so many people. And to me, he was a trusted friend. Mr. Bodenheimer was almost 90 years old. And there were so many times of me just sitting at his house and him talking about just the history of Nashville, the work that has been done, the work that he's done in the community, telling me about his experiences going to the White House and meeting with various people across the country. And he was like a father to me, and this loss was a very, very hard loss. He was also a member of the Buffalo Pack, and he was just very, very beloved in our community, and it was a very hard loss. And I would like to honor him. His homegoing services are this week, and I just wanted to make sure that this body went on record to recognize his commitment to service. There are not many people that dedicate their life to service, and he is someone that dedicated his full and whole life to serving this city and to serving others. And I would ask not only for approval, but that everyone voted in the affirmative would be listed as a co-sponsor on this resolution, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Porterfield. There is a motion to approve Properly seconded. And the resolution is late filed to read the caption for the record, it's a resolution honoring the life of Mr. Arnett H. Bodenhammer Sr. Everybody voting in favor, please say aye. Anyone voting no? Anyone abstaining? No. Thank you, Councilwoman Porterfield. That was a lovely recognition of Mr. Bodenhammer. The
Thank
Murphy
you,
rule
Vice
does
Mayor.
apply, yes.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Okay, we're almost there. Bills on first reading, but don't despair because there are no bills on second reading, nor are there any bills on third reading. And many of these bills can be considered at one time, but I want to inquire, are there any bills that need to be considered separately this evening? Councilwoman Sepulveda, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I think we're missing one late filed ordinance by Councilmember Stiles.
That is a bill, late
it.
file bill or ordinance rather than a resolution. And so that will come at the end of the bills on first reading separately. Thank you. Are there any other bills? Councilman Rutherford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I need to bump item 97, 98, 99, and 100.
Okay, duly noted. If there is no objection, we will consider all the other ordinances on first reading in one vote at this time. So is there a motion to adopt all the bills on first reading?
So moved.
Okay, and as properly seconded, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Okay, the motion passes. We're going to now move to item number 97. Okay, item number 97 on your agenda is BL 2023-56. It is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing from AR to A and SP to SP zoning on properties located at 6419, 6423, and 6431 Pettus Road, and a portion of property located at 8001 Warbler Way, approximately 620 feet northeast of Nolensville Pike, to permit 230 multifamily residential units and a fire station, all of which is described herein. Councilman Rutherford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe 97 and 98 can be taken together. I'm going to take the same action on both of them.
Well, 97 has an amendment, so I would prefer if we take item number 97 separately, and then we can move 98, 99, and 100 together.
That will be just fine.
Okay. Do you have an amendment that you would like to move?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to move amendment number 1 with a brief explanation.
Go ahead.
Madam President, this is a rezoning that was before us in the last term that is starting the process again here at council in this term. It is undergoing some serious transition, if you will. So there's 2 amendments here, and they both address that transition. And then what I'll ultimately be requesting of council is that we pass this on first reading and defer defer second and public hearing to January with a re-referral to the Planning Commission.
Okay, is that to the first meeting in January, the second meeting in January?
The public hearing meeting, I think that's the first, if I'm not mistaken.
The first meeting in January, okay? All right.
So motion on the First Amendment.
Okay. Is there a second? Councilman Rutherford has moved to amend Resolution 2023-56. Properly seconded. Any discussion on Councilman Rutherford's amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of Councilman Rutherford's amendment to Bill 56, please say aye. Anyone voting no? Any abstentions? Okay. Councilman Rutherford, would you like to move your bill as amended with the deferral?
I believe there is a second amendment as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope.
It's all the same.
Yes, sir. There's just one amendment. It's, yep.
Then I move the bill for passage on first with a deferral of the public hearing to the first meeting in January and a referral to the Planning Commission in the meantime.
That's a proper motion. Is there a second? Okay. Properly moved, properly seconded. All in favor of Councilman Rutherford's bill as amended to be deferred to second reading at the first meeting in January, please say aye. Any noes? Any abstentions? Okay. That is approved.
And just
Councilman Rutherford.
verifying that motion was also for a referral to the Planning Commission.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
had stated it properly prior to the vote. That is a proper motion. Okay. Now, Councilman Rutherford, on 98, 99, and 100. I've got to read those into the record, but would you like to take those together?
Well, 98 will also go to the Planning Commission. The other two will not.
Okay, so let's take, okay. All right, so we're going to just do 98, and I guess we'll just do them all separately.
Well, the other two can go together when we finish this one.
All right, so here's 98. BL 2023-57 is an ordinance to authorize building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2023-56, a proposed specific plan zoning district located at 6419, 6423, and 6431 Pettis Road, and a portion of property located at 8001 Warbler Way, approximately 620 feet northeast of Nolensville Pike, to permit a 230 multifamily residential unit and fire station, all of which is described herein. And the proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. Councilman Rutherford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Same motion. I move approval on first reading with deferral of second to the public hearing date in January. This is the first meeting in January, with a referral in the meantime to the Planning Commission.
Okay, that's a proper motion. Is there a second? Okay, properly moved, properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay. That is approved on first reading. Okay. BL 2023-58, 99 on your agenda, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing a specific plan for a portion of property located at 8001 Warbler Way, southwest of the terminus of Tanneker Drive, zoned SP, to remove 1.45 acres of open space from SP, all of which is described herein. Councilman Rutherford, you're recognized.
And 99 and 100 can go
Okay,
together if you want to read that
let's
one.
take them together. BL 2023-59, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing from SP to R40 zoning for property located at 6397 Pettis Road at the northeast corner of Warbler Way and Pettis Road, all of which is described herein. Councilman Rutherford, you are recognized for a combined motion.
Thank you, Madam President. For item 99 and 100, I move approval on first reading with deferral of second reading public hearing to the first meeting in January to track with the previous legislation.
Okay, that's a proper motion. Is there a second? Properly moved, properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Anyone voting no? Any abstentions? No.
Thank you for bearing with me on all of that.
No worries. Okay. The late file? Okay. Councilwoman Sepulveda, you are recognized for the late filed ordinance.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Well, I apologize, Councilwoman Sepulveda. Let's see, Ms. Darby, where is our late filed? Is it at the end in here? Okay. Okay, hang on for me, Ms. Sepulveda. This is a late filed bill without a number. It is an ordinance approving a license agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by and through the Department of General Services and the Salvation Army for use of storage space located at 5244 Hickory Hollow Parkway, Nashville, Tennessee. Councilwoman Stiles, you are recognized. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Committee reports?
Yes. Now, Councilwoman Sepulveda, you are recognized for the committee report, please.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Stiles came before the Rules Committee. We considered the ordinance and had no problem with the late filed nature. We voted 8 in favor, 0 against.
Okay. Do we need to suspend the rules, Ms. Darby? Okay. Is there any objection to suspension of the rules? Seeing none, the rules are suspended. Councilwoman Stiles, do you have a motion?
Yes, I would like to move for approval with a brief comment.
Okay, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So this, colleagues, this is a lease that we have done with the Salvation Army for the last couple of years. This is for the Angel Tree program that they do every year for the holidays. So they're using the bottom of the Bridgestone building for storing the gifts for kids and our senior citizens. So I appreciate your approval.
Okay, Councilwoman Stiles has moved approval. Is there a second? Okay, properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay, all right, y'all. This concludes our first agenda. So well done, council members. We had a few hiccups there from myself and all of us here. So we are gonna, Councilwoman Stiles, were you going to ask all the women to assemble on the dais at the end for a photo? Okay, duly noted. We are going to do this, colleagues, about 93 more times together over the next 4 years. So let's make the most of our work together. Is there a motion to adjourn? Okay. All in favor?
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.